Hi everybody, it's Pascal from ArtOfDrumming and I'd like to welcome you to our drum tuning crash course. In this video, I'm going to show you my method of tuning a bass drum. This video is the second of our three-part video series on drum tuning. If you haven't seen the first one focusing on the snare drum, please go ahead and check that out, as a lot of the same principles will apply to the bass drum as well. You can follow along with what I'm about to do step by step. Just like we did in the snare drum video, I suggest we take a moment and listen to a few different bass drum sounds from famous songs we recreated here at ArtOfDrumming. This will give you an overview of how different bass drums can sound. While all of these bass drums sound different, there are some steps that are always the same, no matter which drum I tune and how it's supposed to sound in the end. Let's strip down this bass drum now and start tuning it from scratch for a great all-around sound. As you can see, here we have a bass drum shell, the hoops with the claws and tension rods, the drum heads, and two blankets for muffling. Let's start by making sure that the bearing edge of the drum as well as the contact area of the head is clean. I suggest starting with the batter head by laying it flat onto the drum and making sure that it isn't off in any direction. Next, let's add the hoop with the claws. Lay it on the head and line up the tension rods with the lugs. For the batter head side like this, I like to make sure that the hoop protector on the bottom for the bass drum pedal is also at the bottom and not off to any side. Now lower down the tension rods enough to where they make contact with the claws, but not anymore. Now that all tension rods are making proper contact, we can start adding tension to the head. For that, I highly prefer a drum key with a little rubber grip on top, like the one from Remo here. For tuning itself, I'm going to use the star pattern I explained in the snare drum video and go around the drum twice. First, I only turn the rods a little bit, maybe half a turn, and then I turn them until my fingers slip on the rubber. This applies the same amount of force to every tension rod. Then I press the ball of my hand in the middle of the drum head and look for wrinkles in the drum head. Don't use your elbows for this, it might dent the head. Now tune up the tension rods closest to the wrinkles until they're gone. I typically press the center of the head in order for it to release any resistance against the bearing edge. This makes sure the tuning will remain the same once you start playing and the drum head slowly settles. This typically drops the pitch and reveals some more wrinkles, so you can remove those then as well using the method from before. If you want to be super accurate, you can also use a mallet and tap the head next to each tension rod and match the pitches, but you don't have to. So let's leave this head as it is for now and fit the Reso head using the same steps. A bass drum Reso head often has a porthole for adding microphones. This obviously weakens the head, so be careful when applying force and checking for wrinkles. Using the method from before, both heads should now be at about the same tension. For the bass drum, I like to tune the Reso head or front head slightly higher than the batter head, about a minor third to be precise. This helps transfer the energy of the moving drum heads over to the shell and get it moving too, which creates a lot more body and low end to the sound than having both heads tuned really low. I'm gonna add about a quarter turn on each tension rod now of the Reso head and see where we're at. Now let's compare the pitches of the two heads. I'm hearing huh and huh. Especially the front head is kind of difficult with all of the overtones, but I think it is there, so. And these pitches should be a good reference on a 22-inch bass drum. Lastly, let's add some muffling. I personally like to play with the beater pressed against the batter head, so I like to use most of my muffling on that head in order to prevent the beater from vibrating against the drum head. So let me put in these two blankets here, and I'm going to rest the first one up against the batter head and lay the second one flat on the floor and have it lightly touching the front head. An impact patch can also be helpful for improved durability of the batter head and beater. Now all that's left to do is install a bass drum pedal and hit the drum to hear how it sounds. Obviously, there are many different ways to do this, but if you follow these steps, you should end up with a usable sound that's a great starting point. So we hope this video was helpful to you. If you have any further questions, post them in the comments. Be sure to check out our snare drum and tom tuning crash course videos too, and subscribe and ring the bell for more helpful tutorials. See you next time.